And on to breaking news this morning as we learn House Democrats plan to subpoena the White House for Ukraine documents if they are not voluntarily handed over by end of week. All of this related to the impeachment inquiry, of course, and in just moments, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, will be holding a news conference along with House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff. Let's bring in our headliner, Florida Senator Rick Scott. Senator, good morning to you. Your expectations as we are about to hear from Democratic leadership.
Well, they've just got a vendetta against Trump. This has been going on for almost 3 years. They hate the election in 2016, the results, and they're trying to change the election in 2020. I mean, we've all seen it. We saw the transcripts. We saw the, what the whistleblower put out. I don't see what they're talking about. But I know they're going to go down this path. So it's frustrating. We have
Senator,
a lot of things to do. We've got to focus on drug prices, things like that.
I don't mean to interrupt, but you just mentioned the transcript. When you read it, what is your fair reading of what you interpret in that conversation?
I still don't see what the crime is. I mean, I keep saying, show me what the crime is. And you never no one ever says that. They say, well, he shouldn't have done it. Well, all of us would do things differently than other people would do it. But if we're going to impeach somebody, there ought to be something that they did wrong.
Well, there is obviously a suggestion in that phone call to the head of Ukraine to look into potentially the president's political opponent in the 2020 election. What did you make when you read through that part of the call?
Well, first off, shouldn't we actually know what happened? When you listen to what Joe Biden has said, that he worked to hold up funding until they got rid of a prosecutor, and then his son has a deal over there. Shouldn't we find that stuff out? Isn't that legitimate to find these things out? So I just don't see what the issue is. I think this is just the Democrats. They hate Trump. Everything. I've been in D.C. now for 9 months. It's just all the Democrats just hate Donald Trump, and they don't like what happened in 2016, and they are working hard to make sure he doesn't win in 2020. That's all this is.
You mentioned there were a lot of things to get to. We just want to cover a little more ground, too, as we're at this press conference. You just came back from Asia. I'll ask you about that in a moment. But with regard to North Korea firing this ballistic missile, what are we to make about how brazen Chairman Kim may be as we believe talks could resume again this weekend?
I'm glad President Trump's talking, but nothing's happening. I mean, this guy is a murderous tyrant. He's continued to develop nuclear weapons. We've got to worry about American citizens. I'm glad, President Trump supposedly has this great relationship with him. Well, if it's such a great relationship, we got to get something done. We've got to hold this guy accountable. He's got to stop developing nuclear weapons. We've got to put as much pressure as we can on him to stop this.
If I could circle back to what we are about to hear from Democratic leadership, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Schiff about to speak, and what we heard from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo this morning confirming he was on that phone call with the Ukrainian leader. He says that the Democrats are employing bullying tactics. He will not tolerate that as Secretary of State of his employees at the State Department. Democrats are accusing him of stonewalling. Here's the letter to Deputy Secretary of State saying that making the case that Pompeo is now a fact witness. Pompeo is now a fact witness in the impeachment inquiry. He should not be making any decisions regarding witness testimony or document production in order to protect himself or the president. Obviously, signed by many of those leaders: Eliot Engel, House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman; Adam Schiff, House Intel Committee Chair; Elijah Cummings, House Oversight Committee Chair. I want to get your reaction to that.
I think Secretary Pompeo should be doing his job. His job is to make sure he protects the agency. They're trying to railroad, the Democrats are trying to railroad everybody through this. There's a process. Let's follow the process. Like in the Senate, this is going to the Senate Intelligence Committee, Richard Burr's committee. We ought to just go through a logical process, but they're trying to rush this through because, this is just, they got to make news to try to hurt the president. That's all they're doing.
You just returned from Hong Kong. What were your observations as you watched the protesters in the street? One person shot yesterday. This has been going on for some time, sir. What did you see?
Well, I'm the first senator that went over there, and I met with protesters. I met with business people. I met with the CEO, Carrie Lam. And what President Xi's doing is disgusting. They have rights. When Britain turned Hong Kong back over to China, there was basic rights. President Xi from Communist China is doing exactly what he is. He's a dictator. He's saying you can't have peaceful protests. You can't assemble. Your access to a lawyer is tough. They're making it very difficult to get a lawyer. What they're doing is they're shooting, these tear gas canisters about this big metal like that. They're shooting them down into the crowds to hurt them. They've got these big metal or plastic discs about this wide, about that thick, shooting right at individuals. The police are just thugs. They're beating the people up. It's disgusting. They're trying to take away everybody's rights. This is President Xi doing this. It's a precursor. It's a precursor to what he's going to try to do with Taiwan, and he's going to go over the entire region. And eventually, he's a totalitarian dictator trying to take over the world.
Senator Rick Scott, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome home, Senator. Thank you.